I'm Jatin Chaudhary. I'm the co-founder of Each Network. We host engaging startup networking meetups in 25 global cities in 15 countries. We have a membership program. If you check out our website, you'll discover a lot of good benefits of being part of Each community. We have this show, Startup Roller Coaster, where we invite our founder friends to come and share about ups and downs about their entrepreneurial journey. Today's guest is Khyati from Simply Body Talk, and she has just started another venture also. So, Khyati, if you can just briefly introduce about you and the ventures that you are running.
Okay, hi Jatin. First of all, it's so nice to talk to you. I think we've been catching up in the past, but this is a new kind of experience doing it online. Okay,
Absolutely.
so I'm Khyati, and basically my journey into entrepreneurship started in around 2008 when I joined my mother-in-law's business. But then every entrepreneur wants to do their own calling, own passion. So 2013 is when I started Simply Body Talk. It's a company that specializes in the niche of body language. So we don't do just training. It's a whole bandwidth of different kind of offerings, products, everything. So that's Simply Body Talk, and we've got lots of different kind of clients and experiences. I'm sure we can discuss it as the question answer goes on. And the other one which I've launched recently just last year, that's Q Kids. Again, the specialization is in non-verbal communication, but this one is for kids from 7 to 12. So very different segments, one in senior leadership and one for young kids. That's how it is.
Awesome. So, Kathy, when you were starting Simply Body Talk in 2013, what were those initial challenges you faced? How did you convince people about the importance of body language?
So it starts with family, right? So people want you to feel good and secure. My family never questioned my ability to take it through or anything of that sort. They were more like, when you start out, you shouldn't face failures. And knowing India as a country, when I started, it was more about image consultancy and let's dress up well, let's wear the right kind of clothes and other things. So in this kind of a segment, if you come up with something called body language, most people just understand it as good handshakes and other things. So to get this idea across to people, it's a challenge. That's why I think in the beginning I focused more on branding as a exercise than marketing. So that
Okay.
is what probably helped me take those good steps and put myself across as a company that specializes in this. Again, another challenge was, how do you build your expertise? Any and everybody can come and say, okay, I can do this subject very well, but how do you prove to people? So that meant I had to look for the right teacher. I'm looking for teacher or university, whatever you want to do. In India, you don't have anything as a subject expertise in body language or non-verbal communication. That's a wider area. So looking for the teacher. So I've basically mastered in this subject with retired FBI special agent Joe Navarro. Now he's a person who doesn't talk to any and everybody. So 1 year just goes by in convincing him, I'm a good student, I'll do well, I'll not, let your name down and other things. Then he took me, and then I spent a lot of time in getting trained in the subject, and then I started off. So it's like a very long patient journey. Along the side, you're also doing your business, so you have to do that and get trained. So that's how it started out.
Okay. And Kathy, entrepreneurship is about making choices. So, in your 7 year journey of Simply Body Talk, what were those key milestones or decisions you took that put you in a different growth trajectory?
So one of the key milestones I would say is when I started hiring people. The first thing I did was focus on the branding, because when you go out there as a soft skills company, people, you get clients depending on how you put yourself across. So we always wanted to work with the bigger clients. That's why the first milestone was when I hired the first person, and that was a PR executive, not a salesperson. So the first journey, then slowly building that expertise and getting those awards which are needed. So thankfully I never had to pay for the awards I got, so that
Yes.
worked. And somewhere we got good media support also. So now
Okay.
over the last few years we've been getting a lot of different articles and other things, so journalists call us. So those, I every one of those is a milestone for me, because if you see, even when it comes to clients for that matter, getting the right kind of clients, that's also good milestones for us, because every company you go to, after a while they will not ask you what is your expertise, they just ask you what's the list of clients you have. So that also somewhere helped us. So 2017 is when we started getting good corporate clients, the big names. And 19 is 18 is when I started going international. So Europe we started out, And hopefully this year we are looking at Dubai, but looking at it being December, I don't know. Maybe I have to look at it for the financial year. So March end,
Yeah.
we are hopefully
Yeah,
targeting
Dubai
Dubai.
is getting open.
Yeah,
So
so that's why that is a key milestone I'm looking at. So that those are the milestones: getting your branding done, then getting those big clients, getting media coverage, and then going international. That
and
will.
Khyati, who do you compete with? Companies similar to you or other soft skills companies? Who
It's
do you
a
compete with?
difficult question because what happens is, see, when I started, I always thought that I have a niche. Nobody is offering what I'm offering. But for the customer or the client, whoever it be, who's shedding out that money, for him, it's out of my pocket. I'm going to shell this much money for my leadership development. Now, whether he gives it to X or he gives it to Y. So for that, from that perspective, everybody who's into consulting, who's into training, all of them are my competitors. So we do personal coaching also. When I go for personal coaching, the leaders, they come to me with this requirement that I want to polish my leadership skills because I'm looking to go to the next level. Now you tell me what you are offering. So there somewhere I have to convince them that non-verbal communication is something which is different, and it's something which you actually need more than your other skills as you grow up in your hierarchy and other things. So
Correct.
that ways, if you look at it, any and every service which provides skill development, that becomes my competition.
Yeah. And a very premise of this show is to talk about ups and downs. Which has been your most happiest moment of your entrepreneurial journey?
Okay, I believe that every entrepreneur, when you talk to them, they have a whole journey that they share.
Yes.
Anytime if I talk to Jatin, right, I just know, okay, Icha is big and Jatin is there, but what is your journey, nobody knows. So for me, I think that key moment was the day we got to the first corporate client. And what happened is, the first corporate client, they were not a small corporate, it's one of the biggest multinationals in India. And the workshop that we got, that was with the national heads of India. So standing there, when you're getting the assignment, you're busy trying to get everything in place, you have to fly down and other things. But the moment when I was standing in front of that whole room full of leaders and standing there, it was something I couldn't believe that it's actually happening and we are there. So that was, I think, one of the happiest moments for me.
Brilliant. And which was the most difficult moment and how did you came out from it?
So difficult, I think one of my weaknesses to say is I can't keep pushing people, trying to squeeze the last bit out of them. So when I have a team, I try to keep a good culture in the company. But there's somewhere what happens is, then you don't put it on the table every time there's a quarterly meeting or a year end meeting that you've not delivered, so you're fired, that kind of thing. So that's something. There was a time when I had started running after how many employees I have and how big a team can I show. And I think in fact, it was in one of the ECHI meetups itself. I was one of the panel members, and the other person, he was an entrepreneur, and he mentioned this, that my company's strength is that we have as few employees as needed. So I went back and I introspected on this, and then I thought this is actually a better idea, because now is the time to focus more on revenues. I can build team strength and all later on. So it was a very difficult thing for me, because I have never wanted to question every decision that my team makes. And then came this lockdown as well. So these two things put together, it's been a moment for me where I have to get used to that idea that I have to get things done from my team. So it's not like a moment in time, but it's like this journey which I had to travel through and get to terms with the fact that as a entrepreneur, I actually have to be a little tough. So that's
Right.
how it is.
And Khyati, in 7 years of journey, are there any things which you feel that you could have done little differently?
Uh, Differently, I wouldn't say so, because see, what happens is, unless you lose that ability to introspect, right? If you introspect every time you make a success or a failure, it always helps you to build your next step forward. So while I might want to say that when I had my maternity leave, why didn't I sit down and finish my training? And then I should have started the day I wanted to leap back into full-fledged entrepreneurship and other things. But then all those tiny steps that I took, maybe I waited 2 years before my teacher told me that I'll take you on. So that taught me a kind of patience which I needed. Then maybe, a corporate client took me those 2, 3 years. In that time, I built my visibility and other things. So that ways, I wouldn't say that any particular thing is moment I would like to correct. But if I lost introspection somewhere, then I would have to sit down and complain about it. So that
Okay.
is.
We'll try to do rapid fire. You can give a short and quick answers to it.
Okay.
What is the advice you will want to give your younger self, then the Khyati who just starting up in 2013?
Keep at it. Even if you feel failures, don't lose hope.
Which is your favorite book or a podcast?
Books are my soul, so I wouldn't want to point out to any one book and say, because I think my career is built on that one book I read in college, which was on body language. But if something made my personality, I would want to point out the Fountainhead. So that was
Okay. And if you were not building Simply Body Talk, what else would you have been doing?
difficult question, because body language is my soul. But I think a branding consultant is something I was seriously contemplating before I started into body language.
Okay. And entrepreneurship is a very humbling experience. You get awards, you get recognized, and you have to take favors sometimes. Which is the most recent favor you had to ask from someone?
Okay, so for the new brand which I'm building, which is Q Kids, that's for kids. It's really new, right? It's not as big name as Simply Body Talk is. So we are right now doing a lot of exercises in order to build our visibility and other things. Very different from what we do for Simply Body Talk. So we did two contests recently. One is just done and one is just coming up. So now to build those contests, you have to ask your friends to help you out, right? I need big celebrity names. So thankfully, I've got clients from Simply Body Talk whom I can, tap and ask them, can you just do this for me for Q Kids? And the lady who we just spoke to yesterday for the contest that's coming up, she told my teammate that for Khyati, I can do anything. So I think that was a heartwarming moment for me. But yeah, that's how I ask for favors. Otherwise, I'm very bad at asking for things out of people. So
But you return favor. I remember that we were doing that meetup in Mumbai and we didn't have a
yes,
host. So I asked you to
correct.
moderate, and you moderated that session really, really well.
But it's more about just building your network. There are times when I've met people who feel that as an entrepreneur, obviously you want a network, but then if you meet everybody with this mindset that what can I tap out of this person, then you are not really building genuine connections. So
Correct.
that I would have just done any other day. So it's more about building those connections, so for me.
And thank you so much for that. And Khyati, what are the next big growth opportunities you are looking forward to?
Obviously we want to go online, so that means we are doing a lot of things which are already in the form of webinars, etc., for both my companies. But we want to tap into it and record our own videos, the way Harvard does it, the way the bigger educational institutes do it. So all of it will be available as and when you want to access all the educational stuff. And we want to get a little into gamification and how it can help build productivity in the workplace. So these are two big ideas we are working on. Hopefully it should get done within the next 1 or 2 years. So
Awesome. And Khyati, if you were to describe your entrepreneurial journey in one word, what would that word be?
entrepreneurial journey, okay, I'll say inspired, self-inspired when it comes to making my own decisions, and inspired by others when it comes to looking out for fresh ideas to add on to my business. So that
Thank you so much, Khyati. We wish you all the best.
thank you, Jatin.